It's the longest wait of a mother's life when you're waiting for a doctor to come out. It seemed like it just happened yesterday.
The vicious cycle of gang warfare. Violence, then suffering.
Who shoots someone that many times?
Loretta Powell's 23-year-old son, Eric, was shot 9 times by a rival gang member in a revenge killing.
It takes a big toll. You lose everything. As the parent, my life has changed. I'm not that same person anymore. Anger sets in.
Eric's brutal death at the corner of Colfax and Wabash never made the news.
How many funerals did I do the month of September? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cases.
Laying souls to rest.
These are all funerals.
Has been a calling for George Roberts for 42 years.
Okay.
2021 has been one of his busiest years to date.
Okay.
These boxes hold funeral programs from the last several years.
These is babies, man, that left this earth. At least 70% are homicides.
How many of those do you think are gang related?
70%. It's a war, and it's kids. It ain't the OGs, it's the kids.
Of the 95 homicides in Denver in 2020, 16 were labeled gang-related. 16 out of 95. Only 3 of 75 have that distinction so far this year.
The past 2 years have been year-round. It's getting worse day by day. Pipkin Braswell, Tori Watts speaking. How can I help you?
Tori Watts manages family relations for Pipkin Braswell Funeral Home in Park Hill. Tori estimates the funeral home has buried close to 24 homicide victims in 2021.
We've done 3 youth homicides in a week, to where we had to call, police to just be on standby.
DPD's gang unit says there's a complicated threshold to label a murder gang-related. For one, the suspect must self-identify as a gang member.
Surprisingly, you'll get that parent, it's like, well, they died at G, or they died, and they're submitting pictures with their loved one with guns and stacks of money and drinks and liquor in their programs, which means you as a parent also accepted this lifestyle and this behavior.
Certainly gangs have become an acceptable part of our culture.
Gang violence doesn't dominate headlines like it did in the 90s and early 2000s.
We don't want to hear about it anymore. And just because you don't want to hear about it anymore doesn't mean that it stopped.
Reverend Leon Kelly has used his nonprofit, Open Door Youth Gang Alternatives, as a method of gang intervention for 39 years. He started documenting gang casualties in 1988.
It's pages. All these people are gone. They're gone.
Who is this?
Uncle Fat.
Uncle Fats.
Uncle Fat.
Uncle Fats.
For Loretta,
Because my oldest son is gone.
her son will always be more than a name on a page.
Your life isn't as bad as you think it is until you walked in my shoes.
This ain't gonna change. Every time you see a bird fly, somebody just died.
The man who preaches change doesn't see any coming.
We dying, y'all, and we need to come together.
Denver police says gang activity has increased in younger kids during the pandemic, with new members averaging between 13 and 14 years old. It used to be much older than that. To address this, DPD no longer has this traditional gang unit as you would know it, but they focus now mainly on outreach with a program called SORT.
And the way they're deciding which killings are gang related. You touched on it, but I want people to really hear this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it truly is fascinating because they say it's so nuanced and there's such like a high threshold that unless these people, meaning the victim and the suspect, self-identify as gang members, then it can't be considered a gang-related homicide.
Yeah, and you can certainly understand why somebody accused of crime is not going to raise a hand and say, I'm in a gang. You can understand why the family member of a victim wouldn't want to come forward and say, my loved one was in a gang.
So I think a lot of these murders just kind of end up in this gray area, and will we ever know, what they are? I'm not sure. The answer is yes.
But the people in the funeral homes and the pastors, they feel like they know.
And speaking of the pastors, somebody that I got to know over the last few weeks doing this story, who you just heard from, Pastor George Roberts, who has been such an integral spiritual voice in the Northeast Denver community, lost his battle with COVID just a couple of hours ago. So we're thinking about his family. Such a sweet man.
Yeah, he's been there for so many families in their time of grief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most treasured profession. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Alex.